right, I'm sitting on the blue couch with Scott from the Learned Doctors. How are you?
I'm well.
And wait, what's the name of the other band?
Made From Meteors.
Yeah, are you still playing with them a lot?
Yes. So we haven't had a lot of gigs lately. We're focusing on sort of getting some recording done so that we can share more of our music with people.
Gotcha.
And I'm working on editing like an EPK video for us so we can have something to share with venues because we're still so new that we don't really have a lot of material to share.
However, you did quite well in Battle of the Bands.
Thanks. We had an awesome time.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. This is really great because I love this band. We go almost everywhere locally that you guys play. You've played at our house. You're playing at our Christmas party.
Yeah.
But I don't know a lot lot you, so this is really fun
good
for
opportunity.
me. Yeah, it really is good. So how long have you been playing music?
Oh man, probably about 20 years now.
Really?
Which makes me feel a little old. And I think, playing like in venues for probably 15.
Okay, so a long
while
time.
Now, yeah.
So what was your first love with music? Do you recall kind of that feeling for you?
Yeah, I think so. Probably around middle school is when I think I really started developing my own taste. I have an older sister, so early in life I was more stuck listening to her music. But then, I think around 6th grade I started kind of developing my own taste, and Nirvana was the first band that really like hit me of like, this is awesome, and got me kind of into rock music and made me want to play drums. So that was my first instrument, and then I moved right before high school, so I didn't really know anyone when I started high school, so drums by myself wasn't super fun, so that's really what kind of motivated me to learn guitar. And I started doing that around that point, and then eventually, I think like a lot of bass players, I was in a band that needed a bass player,
there you go.
I made the switch at that point, and I just fell in love with it, and that's what really stuck.
I mean, I guess similar to drums, the bass leads the whole band, right?
Exactly.
So
that's what gets the booty shaking.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So where did you grow up?
So I was in Columbia early in my life, and then moved to Mount Airy right before high school. Went to Linganore High School.
All right.
FCC for a little bit. Then I was down in Baltimore going to Towson, and now I live in Finksburg, which is Carroll County. Near Westminster.
Not too bad. Very cool. What's the one thing you love, like when you're out playing, with the Learned Doctors? What is kind of your love there?
Well, number one, I think for all of us, we just really love executing songs well, and sort of being able to sort of nail it is really fun for us. But also just getting people excited, having fun, seeing people into it, and just really kind of bringing joy to people that maybe had a rough week or whatever. And music is just so powerful in its ability to sort of make you forget about whatever is bringing you down and just get into the moment. And I think that's another thing is performers that we kind of get to experience that too, of like we're just in the zone and everything else kind of fades away in the background for that time.
Yeah. So you're married.
Yes.
Is it true that the guitars get the chicks? Is that what happened?
Well, as a bass player, I would say that they don't necessarily flock to me as much, but I think growing up, I always heard like guitar, it helps you get women, but I think it's more about personality than anything else. Because if you're shy, it doesn't matter how good a guitar you are, you ain't reeling them in.
And you don't, it's not your full-time gig playing music yet.
No.
So what do you do full-time?
So actually I work for a company called Home Delivery Inc. And if you can believe it, we do home delivery.
Okay.
Keep it very simple. So we do final mile for other companies, so like mattress companies, furniture companies. And we specialize in like white glove service, so kind of top notch.
Wow.
So we work for a few companies throughout sort of the mid-Atlantic, Midwest region. So just basically moved into a compliance director role there, which has been pretty exciting.
Gotcha.
Lots to do though.
Yes. Yeah, it keeps you busy, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I guess this is kind of your release and your escape as well as everybody else's.
Some steam. Yeah. Now Christian, our guitar player, does music related things full time, and so does Chris, our drummer.
Yeah.
Whether that's teaching, running sound, playing gigs. Probably 5-10 years ago, I was really kind of figuring out, do I want to go that path? Do I want to have a day job? And I did experiment to see like how many gigs can I get while doing the day job to see can I really supplement my income. And what I found was it is doable for sure. But honestly more stressed out trying to make things work
Work it
that
out.
way. So I decided, also with sort of my wife having more of a 9-to-5 schedule, it just
Yeah.
worked better for me to have the day job and have the music be more of a creative outlet and,
Yeah.
and projects.
Yeah, that's understood. So other than Nirvana, kind of who are your favorites to play?
Okay. Well, I'm a big 90s guy,
Yeah.
as you probably
Yes,
know. But
yes.
I love Stone Temple Pilots. They're one of
Yeah.
my favorites. Red Hot Chili Peppers are great. And then, I like a lot of 70s stuff too. So
Yeah.
like Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, all that
Yeah,
good stuff.
yeah.
Now, we tend to avoid that with the Doctors and
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stay a little bit more 80s, 90s, 2000s. We dabble a little bit in 70s, but earlier on in my cover band career, it was pretty much all 70s
Yeah.
was what everyone wanted to
Yeah,
hear, and a little
yeah.
bit of 80s, but the generational shift of who's going to bars has happened. So I think around the time we started the Doctors, we're like, why don't we play that stuff
Yeah.
and the stuff we really grew up on, because those are the folks out in bars.
Yeah,
nowadays,
yeah. How did that collaboration come together? Like, how did you guys meet and all come down?
Yeah, so I used to play in a band around town called Secondhand Ramblers before
Oh,
the
wait, I've heard
Doctors
of them.
started. We used to play a good bit, and we did a Live at 5 a couple times.
Yeah.
And we're at the Cellar Door a lot, JoJo's,
Oh,
that kind of thing.
yeah, okay.
So that was going on for a while, and we were playing with an amazing drummer, Matt Kleiss, who he plays with the Doctors probably half the time now.
Yeah.
And so when the Ramblers kind of fizzled out, Matt knew Christian, and Christian had actually done sound for the Ramblers a couple of times, so I
Okay.
knew him. And I think there was like a Thursday night gig at Bushwallers that we needed to fill, so we all just kind of sent each other song lists that we all know, and ended up coming and playing for a few hours at Bushwallers, and we were just like, we got to make this happen.
Kind of cool,
'Cause,
yeah, it's kind of
we
cool.
had people coming up to us and asking how long we've been playing together and all this stuff, and I'm like, actually tonight. So
That's pretty good.
So I think we knew that we had something, and we're all kind of low drama, just show
Yeah.
up and have fun
Yeah.
and do the work ahead of time to prepare, and I think we all recognized that about each other and clicked.
That's great. That's just kind of like the magic, right?
Exactly.
It's just kind of really nice when all that happens.
Absolutely.
Now, there's a song you guys play at sound check
Okay.
every time
Yes.
that we all want you to finish.
Maybe we should
I
finish
mean,
it
you
sometime.
have to. We all start singing it. We love it. It's just so funny. We know the sound check song.
Yep.
But why? Tell me now what it is.
So listen to the music, of
Listen to the
course.
music, yes.
And it's funny because, we're like, all right, what's a song where we can sort of hear all of our
Change it,
instruments, and then, by the time we get through the first chorus, we can hear all the vocals.
Yeah.
So it's really about us being able to hear the mix on
Yeah.
stage and at
Yeah.
all the levels where we need them.
Yeah.
And I think one day we're like, that's a great song.
It
'cause of
is
all
a great
the
song.
harmony,
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because when we were at Benstown this past weekend and you all were
Yeah.
there, right after we did the sound check and took a few minutes before we got started, I'm like, I think I thought of another song we can do that would work well as a sound check, because we've been doing that for years.
You have.
As you know. So I'm like, maybe Mary Jane's Last Dance, Tom Petty would
that's
be a good one to do.
That's a good one too.
So maybe we'll
then we're gonna want that
listen to
song
music
played.
into the real set.
You gotta finish it. Is there any place that you want to play that you haven't yet?
So what I'm trying to do right now, Frederick-wise, is I really want to get Made From Meteors into Sky Stage.
Oh.
Because I think that would be a really cool venue for us.
Would be cool.
It's small and intimate enough that it's
Yeah.
really good for original music. And
Yeah.
I think with another band or two, we could actually fill the seats there.
Oh, yeah, for
So
sure.
I'd love to get in there.
So let's talk about Made From Meteors. So that is an originals project.
Yes.
And are all of these people in Made From Meteors people you've known and hung out with a long time?
Yeah, so actually 3 out of the 4 of us were in a band together in high school.
Okay.
Called Hybrid Rose back in the day. And unfortunately, the 4th member passed away maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh,
Nick
wow.
Palmisano, great guy. So we kind of drifted apart, and life went different directions for a long time. And about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, the 3 of us had an opportunity to get back together, which is really cool and long overdue.
Yeah.
So we're like, I think we all kind of had that itch for original music, because I mean the cover band stuff is great. I love
Sure.
it. It's a good way to make a little bit of cash and have
Yeah.
a good time. But there's something different about the original music
Sure.
scene that
Yeah.
I think we were all missing. So we got together, and you know, in the band back in the day, I played guitar and sang. So we had 2 guitars, bass and drums. Our drummer is the one that we lost, and I'm like, drums were my first instrument.
Yes.
Maybe we can jam the 3 of us for now. And then we ended up wanting that 4th piece and to get kind of a lead singer, and actually met Joe via Craigslist.
Oh, wow.
Which is great because he's not a murderer. So
Yeah,
that worked out
I was
really
gonna
well.
say, I can't believe somebody still uses
People
Craigslist
still,
and survive.
I know. That's what everyone's like.
Good news, though.
People
Good
use that
news.
still.
Yeah.
But I mean, he fit right in, and we auditioned a couple of guys, but Joe had sent us some material before he came over to audition, and we're like, unless this guy is like a total weirdo, I think he's got it in the bag. And I mean, I'm telling you, it was like, it feels like we've known each other forever. He just fit
nice.
right in and has the personality for it. So that's been really exciting. We have an EP that we put out probably about a month ago with 4 songs. It's called Origins. It's on all streaming platforms. But we're trying to get 4 or 5 more recorded at this point.
Nice.
Because I think for us, it's more about creating than necessarily gigging. While like gigging is something that we definitely want to do and share our music with more people. I think we're focusing right now on sort of refining what we have and putting it into,
well, now obviously even versus 5 or 10 years ago, when you can create and put stuff on the internet, obviously you have a worldwide audience, right? The gigging is great, but I mean, if you make a TikTok out of some of the music and people pick up the sound, that can just...
It's crazy.
Really, it's unreal. I think it's amazing that creators now have access to the world. I think it's something that now record labels and big corporations can't control the media. Right? You have this full access that if you're, capable and people like it, and it's a great market research, right? You can put stuff out, immediately get responses from people.
Absolutely.
And that's got to be great as somebody who creates, because, the tweaking and the thrill of that, of just getting that feedback.
Oh, and it's right at your fingertips.
Yeah, right
but then
there.
you gotta know your social media to sort of make it in that environment, which is crazy. Because before it was sort of just one stream of media before the internet really took off. And now it's just, there's so many streams all the time.
So many,
So you gotta cut through the noise.
Yes, you do. Well, look, we wish you all the luck.
Thanks.
We'll be watching for you.
Awesome.
Not only with the Learned Doctors, obviously, but I think that, having that outlet for original music is great. How hard is it to write something original?
Man, it depends. And what's cool about our setup is we all kind of contribute different parts. So sometimes it'll be like, hey, I have a song 95% of the way, let's get it to 100. But sometimes we're just jamming and it's like,
oh, that
we have
kind of
something
sounded
there,
good. Yeah.
And then we build around that.
Nice.
So,
I've always wondered how people do that, because I would constantly be thinking, oh, is this somebody else's song I'm singing, or is this somebody else's, whatever? So, very cool.
Yeah, and it's, I think doing most of it yourself is really rewarding, and you can really come up with something great, but I think that's much harder, for me anyway, than getting together and sort of forming something collaboratively.
Yeah.
It takes me much longer to write most of a song myself than when we get together and sort of it just flows.
All right. Well, when you have the gig at Sky Stage, you let me know. We'll
Absolutely.
be down there. Look out for Scott, the Learned Doctors, and Made From Meteors out where you are, right?
Absolutely.
So you guys post stuff around, and not doctors at all. And I'll just say StepBrothers, and you can research that and figure out why they are called the Learned Doctors. Scott, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Awesome.